Hey everybody, how we doing? Well, there's a few of our girls. Taz, Stony, a couple of your girls. How we doing, huh buddy? Not a lot of activity going on, folks. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, the last few weeks. Haven't seen too much. It is kind of a slow time if the breeding's going right. I've seen quite a few get bred, so I guess we should say it's not slow in that respect, but I did have one come back, Megan. Now, I'm gonna hang you up here, guys. I'm doing this. Megan was, I saw Megan get bred on day one. 13th, day one, Megan got bred. So we marked it down. Now, about the 28th, he started following her a little bit, and on the 29th, he bred her again. So, okay, she must not have been in the first time, or she didn't stick, so we had to rebreed because she didn't stick. I don't think it was the case she didn't stick. And I'm saying that because usually every 17 days is when you see them come in. If she was in on the 13th and got rebred on the 29th, or the 30th, the days aren't enough. That's not 17 days. But I would bet you she was probably in on the 12th. Probably in on the 12th, but he bred her on the 13th. He would still breed her on the 13th, but she was probably already on the way out by the 13th. Add 17 days, you get to the 30th. That was yesterday. That's when she got bred. So I'm gonna guess on that situation. Never sure, but she's written back down for the 30th. Callie was the day before that, or 2 days before. I got to go back and take a look. She might have been the 28th. We're covered here, I think. We're covered there. I think we're down to the 3 young lambs, and they could be bred. I don't know. He's kind of followed around them some, but I haven't seen any real activity with them. So I'm not 100% sure, but we still might be down to those. That's what we got left. Hard to say for sure. I guess we'll know 5 months from now anyway. I want to go over something. I talked about this, man, years ago when I started, and I don't think I brought it up again since, and I thought this might be a time to bring that back up because it kind of goes along with some of this. A few years ago, when I kind of started doing this, I said there's actually kind of 2 ways you can do this when you're raising horned-haired sheep like this. And that is what I call the hands-on approach or the hands-off approach. So there's really kind of 2 ways you can do it. How involved do you want to be? Now, I'm seeing something lately too. We're seeing something, they're starting to describe things a little different. We're seeing a lot of some of your bighorn crosses. They're getting some bighorn sheep in there. They're doing some crossing with that. And I've noticed the people that are getting more into that, you're starting to hear them referring to wild or domestic. They're kind of starting to break down the horn sheep. They want to break them down to, well, like the painted desert or the dog. That's more of a domestic sheep, where the bighorns, now we got a percentage bighorn, so we're more wild. Well, yeah, I can understand that one. I kind of see it as a selling point. I think you're trying to sell something more than anything else. But I had mouflons before I did this, and mouflons were definitely a lot more skittish and a lot more squirrely than the painted deserts are. So there is a difference in that. And sometimes that can make a difference. Are you breeding hands-on? Or are you breeding hands-off? And hands-on's what I've been doing. I love doing hands-on. That's what I always wanted to do. I like that. I get more involved. I'm really working on the genetics, and I'm involved in this ram is crossing with this ewe, and this one's doing this, and this one's doing that, and I really keep a close tabs on everything. I enjoy doing that. That was part of the stuff I like to do. But in some people it doesn't work out. I mean, first you've got sheep that are wilder. You've got mouflons, or you've got some Rocky Mountain in there, and they're a little bit wilder and skittish, and you can't quite do as much hands-on as you want. Then you're more of the hands-off approach. Put them out, let them go, let them take care of themselves. You know, technically, I'm in Nebraska. You go down to south of Texas where it's nice and warm and they can lamb year-round. Hey, ram goes in with the ewes, stays there 365 days a year, he never comes out. You know, and that's about as hands off you can get. There's not a whole lot to do. Don't get me wrong, there's still some stuff you have to do, but it does eliminate a lot of the hands-on stuff you're doing. So I consider that to be more of a hands-off approach. But you can even take painted deserts like this, where I'm at, and you can do them hands-on, hands-off. You know, you want to get you want to eat a few weeds in the pasture. You kind of want to raise a few babies. It's not big. You got, I mean, you got 1 or 2 ewes, maybe you got 2 ewes and a ram or something like that. So it's not a big thing, but you enjoy doing it. But you know what? You got kids, you got jobs. There's a lot of other things in the world that you got to do. Sometimes you don't have the time to really get into this as much as like a breeder would. It's more of, I got my ram, I got my ewes, I get to see them, I take care of them like I'm supposed to. They're fed and they're watered, but I don't have the hands-on. That is really kind of a hands-off approach to it. So, hey, let's go over and see the girls real quick that came up. Hey, I did figure out the little brown one there on the left-hand side, that is by Lomax. That's his daughter. And I think I'm going to name her Precious. Yeah, I think I'm going to name her Precious. So, and I hate to say it, she's almost got 2 reasons for Precious. Bad news on Lomax, I never could get him straight. I never could get him straightened out. Tried, we gave him everything we could do for as far as medicine or anything else. Let me get the bug off here. Well, got a bug on your camera. We did everything we could. He just kept thinner, thinner, thinner. And I finally said that was enough when I put him down. So, not a happy day. I didn't want to have to do it, but I did. And I guess if I have a regret, I have no ram lambs from Lomax. I didn't get to save any rams. So Precious down here, that's his daughter. And that is all I have from Lomax. So, but I know where some of those ram lambs are, so I'll at least get to keep up with them and watch them. So, and go with that. But anyway, as I was talking about, hands off, hands on or hands off, it's what you want to do. It's what you have time for. And I hate to say it, sometimes you can't do what you want to do. As I said, I love the hands-on approach. I love to do that. But next spring, I am going to be 74 next spring. And doing it by myself, I'm usually having to get help. And Taz, yeah, when I got to work with the big boys down there, I definitely need help. I can't get in there by myself. You really got to get help. I hate asking for help, but I'm just, I'm kind of getting to the point where I have to start thinking more hands-off approach on how I do things, just because I'm getting a little older. I can't do what I used to do even a few years ago, even 4 or 5 years ago. I can tell a big difference when you get up here in the 70s. So as much as I love hands-off, I may be just as much doing hands-on. I may be doing hands-off as much as other people do, just because I have to. I'm just getting too old. I can't do everything that I used to do. So, part of life, There's not much we can do about it. We do what we can, and we just go from there. So the main thing is, anyway, how you're going to raise your sheep is up to you. Hands-on, get in there, do all that stuff, but if you don't have the time, you can't do it. There's nothing wrong with hands-off. There's nothing doing the minimal you have to do. Make sure they're taken care of well. You get the medications to them, you get them fed, you get them watered, take care of babies, and hey, maybe that's it. That's all you can do, but at least that part you can do. So, and in my case, it may be going a little bit more the other direction, more of a hands-off approach to me, especially working with the big guys. I'll tell you what, it is totally different working with rams than it is working with ewes. And older rams. Younger rams, they're not too bad yet. Once you start getting that 2-3 years old, now the big rams, that could be a little more. I just happened to post on Facebook today at one of the sheep farms. Lady's got a blood streaking down her head working with the rams. Now, she didn't get a horn. She said she did get a hoof. Got her in the forehead, but anytime, it works that way. And as those of us get a little bit older, we start thinking more about that. So anyway, all right, that's over with. We're sitting good right now, I think. We're just going to sit back and watch them and see if we get anything more. I think Stony is done unless anybody comes back in. Tammy would have been the first to come back in, And what's the day? I think tomorrow. I think tomorrow would be the day for Tammy if she's going to come back in. She was the first one that got bred. And then we'll kind of keep an eye now. I know we got 17 days here because of Megan over there. So we'll have to see what happens. You know, I'll be back in a couple weeks. I don't know if there's that much going to be going on. Slow time of year. All you're doing is checking to see if everybody's bred and keeping up. But not a lot of stuff to make videos for. But we'll try to get back here in a couple weeks and at least update you what's going on.